Welcome to Arizona, a state filled with beauty, from its deserts to its mountains to its milk.
Did you say milk?
Why, yes. Maybe you're wondering what Arizona has to do with milk. Why, Arizona produces plenty of fresh, wholesome milk on its many dairy farms. In fact, being a dairy cow is one of the most important jobs you can have, which brings us to Daisy the cow.
Oh, hello.
Every day, she and the rest of the cows would have a great time, playing, resting, and eating. Most importantly, they would line up each day to be milked, sometimes as much as 9 gallons per cow a day.
We're living the life in Arizona on a beautiful dairy farm. Who would have thought there's cows in the desert, but the scenery stops and the weather is warm and it's really so sublime. Horrible life, come on out and see. In Arizona, that's the life for me.
In the evening, when the Arizona sun slowly disappears beneath the sand, Daisy did what all the cows would do, settle down for a nice night of sleep. But one night, Daisy had trouble getting to sleep. She lay in her bed and thought about what she would have been if she hadn't been, well, a cow. She loved her life on the dairy, but her mind roamed as she dreamed of what else could be out there.
Being a cow, it's all right, I suppose. But there must be something better. Is everything really just black and white? I can be a more colorful cow. I want to be more than I am right now.
A great horned owl flew down from the night sky and landed next to Daisy. It was Daisy's good friend Saguaro.
Daisy, shouldn't you be asleep by now? Something troubling you?
Oh, hi, Saguaro.
Sometimes I just think I'd like to visit lots of different places. You know, see what else is out there besides this dairy farm.
Interesting. What kind of places?
Oh, I don't know. As far away as I can travel. How about outer space?
Outer space? Well, I don't know about that.
But Daisy was already drifting off to sleep. She began to dream of flying through space, wearing a spacesuit. She whizzed by strange planets and stars.
Wow, I'm an astronaut. Or astro cow? Well, something astro. It's amazing!
But all the space travel was making Daisy hungry. She settled down on the surface of the moon and looked for some grass.
Wait a minute. Does the moon even have grass? Or corn or hay?
But as we all know, there's no grass or corn or hay on the moon. Daisy's cow tummy started to grumble. She reached into her spacesuit pocket and found a tube of astronaut food. She tasted it. She didn't like it at all. In fact, the taste was so bad that it woke Daisy up from her dream.
What happened? Bad dream?
There's no hay in space.
Well, I could have told you that. But there's always food at the dairy here, isn't there?
Well, duh. The farmers make sure we have the best food a cow could ask for. Every day we eat a wholesome diet of corn and hay.
Yes, well, maybe outer space is a little far from the things you love. Perhaps you stick a little closer to home.
I know! The Grand Canyon is right here in Arizona. I could go there.
And what would you do there?
I don't know. I'll give tourist rides down to the bottom of the canyon like a mule. I can do the job as well as a mule.
And before you knew it, Daisy was dreaming of working at the Grand Canyon, one of the greatest tourist attractions in Arizona. There she stood, at the top of the magnificent canyon.
Excuse me, but aren't you a cow?
No, sir. I'm a mule. I give people rides down to the bottom of the gorge.
Terrific! I'd love a ride down to the bottom.
Sure, hop on. My first customer!
Halfway down the steep and treacherous trail, Daisy started to realize that she's not used to having someone ride on her back. And it was hot. Very, very hot.
Do you mind if we take a little break and find some shade?
Break? No break! I want to see the bottom of the canyon. Besides, do you see any shade around here?
Daisy looked around and realized that no, there was no barn or shade trees of any kind to rest under.
Gosh, I couldn't do that. Is it hot in here?
No, it's a cool night. But even if it were a blazing hot Arizona day, you have this barn here to get shade. Not to mention the fans and the misters the farmer put up so you could always stay cool.
Daisy thought about the wonderful fans and how they always made her feel refreshed after playing out in the hot sun.
Well, I just need to go somewhere cooler then.
Oh my, what will you dream of next?
The frozen Arctic. What am I gonna be? It's kind of cold up there. I'm a sled dog. Sled dog.
Yeah, a sled dog, yeah.
Daisy was at the head of the team as they whisked through the snowy drifts. Snowflakes danced across her face, and she was the fastest cow you've ever seen. But soon darkness settled over the great Arctic. It got very cold as the big blue moon rose into the air. Daisy noticed how all the sled dogs curled up and settled down for sleep. But she was freezing.
I can't fall asleep in a bunch of snow.
I don't blame you. Dreaming of the Arctic?
Daisy looked around at her nice warm bed made of straw and sand.
Oh, thank goodness.
She thought about how well the farmers here at the dairy treat all the cows. They even clean out the cows' beds and make sure they're fresh and cozy.
Look, it's very late, Daisy. What is it you really want?
I guess I just want to do something important. To help the world. A scientist.
A scientist. Okay, well, you have just about enough time for one more dream before the sun comes up and it's time for breakfast. So go back to sleep and get dreaming.
Daisy laid her head down and squeezed her eyes closed.
Scientist.
And there she was, standing in front of a table full of test tubes, beakers, and electronic gizmos of all sorts.
And now, I will create the world's best vitamin.
She started mixing this and that without a clue what she was mixing. Green liquids mixed with purple, and started to fizz and bubble. A pinch of some powder from a small bowl, and boom!
I'd like to wake up. Now.
And she did. And as she sat there in the cool Arizona night air next to Saguaro, she was very disappointed.
Daisy, don't you see? You, my dear, are a happy, healthy dairy cow. You make milk for people to drink. It's loaded with all kinds of vitamins and minerals that people need every single day.
Daisy looked at him with the hint of a smile.
Well, that's true. Milk has 9 essential nutrients, including protein, and that makes people healthy.
Yes, and Arizona has some of the largest dairy farms in the country, and this beautiful state has over 200,000 dairy cows. And you are part of all that.
Daisy stood up and watched the sun rise from behind the distant mountains. She realized how happy she was on that dairy farm. The only way a cow can produce up to 9 gallons of milk a day is to be a happy cow. And she thought about how hard the farmers worked to make sure all the cows were happy. Plenty of healthy food, cooling misters, shade from the hot sun, and a nice, clean bed that's soft and dry. And she thought about her important job of producing milk.
You know what, Saguaro? I have a great life right here at the dairy.
I thought you might say that, Daisy.
And Daisy ran off to join her friends for breakfast.
You're living